Hello, all you out there SDL fans. It's your little CogChamp Gear here, and I got with me, rising from the ashes, Fenix. Fenix, how you doing?
I'm doing very well today. Thank you for joining me here on this beautiful looking desk with the beautiful logos behind us. I like the Stormcallers logo. It looks good for you. It looks good with your face, kind of matches in with it.
How does it match with the... All right, I got you. Okay. I thought you were talking about the fist and with Seismic Shockwaves for a second. I put the pieces together. I like
Yeah.
it. I'll take the mask on. Let's go. We got our Godlike division, Stormcallers versus Seismic Shockwaves, so it should be a fun time. Always is with Godlike. You see any names you recognize here? Because I'm a bit newer to the Godlike division. I haven't really touched much with that, so I don't really see too many friendly faces.
There are plenty of good names in this one. I would say the two main names that you're going to see a little bit of and know a good amount is Dragoon. Dragoon is a well-known ADC from previous seasons. Has dominated throughout Godlike in, I believe, all 3 seasons. This is the 3rd season that he'll be playing. And the other name will be on the opposite side. That will be Aggressing, who also is a well-known name throughout our community. But there are some new names here. Java is one of those new names, recently addition to the STL, but a great addition at that. I'm happy to see a lot of new names in this game, actually, and some not new bans. Kali, Freya, and Ganesha are all already off the table.
I will say, going to the Godlike, it definitely different priority bands, because in the Divine Immortal, I've seen a lot of, the generic stuff, the Martys, the Ravana's. Yorm we got banned out, so that's cool to see, a little familiar there. But mostly it's these really meta picks. It almost feels like there's a list and you gotta check it, right? So some people go for the Hebo, put them on there. Kali, I will admit, is one we do see relatively banned consistently, and there's the Ravana alongside the Yorm. So did Seismic Shockwaves pass a ban?
I don't think so.
Oh,
There it
there
is.
it goes.
There's the
Marty.
Martyrs.
I thought I
Yeah,
saw Stormcallers do 2 in a row.
Yeah, that'd be crazy though. We're in 2-1-2.
Yeah.
This is not an in-house situation here where we're banning gods in a pick order. That being said, I see the one god that got through is Bakasura as of right now, and that is the one god that I would say is pretty OP, but was not banned. I would not be surprised to see it either get picked here by Stormcallers or in the second round by Seismic Shockwaves as it goes back their way. Once again, another god that got past here is Sun Wukong, feeling very comfortable not only in the Godlike division, but also in the Divine and Immortal divisions. We've seen a lot of this pick, and there's a reason why. Sun Wukong just feels so good in lane, even though Gladiator Shield got recently nerfed. It doesn't really matter. Why don't we just go ahead and keep picking Sun Wukong? And to answer that, Thor also makes great amount of sense as one of the better junglers in the meta right now. No basic attacks. It's not a Bakasura. This is an ability-based jungler.
Yeah, and we see these gods start coming out when it gets towards the this bruiser meta. It's when they can just kind of sit in there and just keep dealing with all this damage and whatnot. It's especially Sun Wukong. He can build the lifesteal item, Soul Eater. He can build Soul Eater, and when he just start healing off of that, and he really just kind of needs some pseudo protection items, and he's just free to go. But Baba Yaga is always good to see too, especially when Charon's coin's in meta. And I've said this in a couple of casts or whatever. Charon's coin is awesome for Baba Yaga because you don't need the assists or the kills to stack it, right? So you can get those stacks very easily and then max it out. And if it's a low kill game, that hugely benefits Baba Yaga because all of a sudden the other person not getting any stacks. If it's like if it's a 2-2 kill game, you already have a full stack Karen's coin, and that's just really going to flip the whole
Wisdom shall be
turn
my
thing on
shield.
its head, right? So now you got a full stack Karen's coin, and the other person hasn't even a chance to do it.
Funny enough that Kaizo is actually not in this game, but Athena is being picked, one of the most well-known gods from Kaizo. I like to see also the Hachiman Yamoja answer. Yamoja is not the strongest support in the meta currently, but is still a great support to have on your team. It reminds me kind of like a Khepri. When you get a Khepri on your team, you just feel safe. You feel comfortable. And that's the same thing with Yamoja, is you have that peel with the ultimate, and then you have the healing with all the whatever. What's the? I think you probably know what it's called. Emoji. What's it? What's the? It's nice.
She got the autos, and then she's got the surge where she just shoots it forward and
Yeah,
gives everyone a shield.
I love that.
I'm not the best with her abilities. I keep calling the bounce back one. I swap between Riptide and Current or something like that.
Yeah.
Or Torrent. I think I call it Torrent. Or maybe it's called Torrent. I say Riptide. I don't know. I just think it's fun to call it Riptide. So
There you go. But actually, there's the Bakasira ban. Speaking of that, I was going on about that in the beginning of this pick and ban phase, but it's out of the picture now, as well as the Ratatasker ban. That's probably more of a focus ban towards Seismic Shockwaves. We don't want to see that in both the soul lane or the jungle, because now that's a Thor solo, I think. That is probably going to be Susanoo jungle, which kind of
Ooh.
puts a little mix on this.
It's good. Always fun when you got a Thor solo. I feel like the problem he suffers from though is you're kind of stuck building a bit more tanky. So early game you could really start being dominated, like really dominating the lane and the rotations. But the problem is
Face
if
the
you don't really have
wrath
the
of a
damage to kind of
sorceress
dive
scorned.
and blow someone up with your Thorl,
Yeah.
you become a little bit irrelevant late game. You're a big CC bot because you have the wall, you can constrict people, you can kind of follow people, and you have the global ultimate, but you're not doing the damage that you really need from a Thor. So you get late game, people can't really translate correctly. So it's always you keep thinking you're doing all the big damage, but you can't. So if we can see this solo Thor just help set up the Susanoo and Baba Yaga, I think Seismic Shockwaves is going to be at a very nice spot. Stormcallers, though, opting to go for the Naja, which is always scary to go into, especially when you got Morgan Le Fay on top of it, because Naja brings you up. If you don't die before you come down, you know you're being feared or controlled as soon as you land. And it's never exciting when you go up in the air because you know there's going to be more waiting for you.
And prosper.
And the answer of Kurnos for everything that they have picked. I am surprised to see Asern. It feels like we haven't seen him in the meta as of lately as well. A lot of non-super meta picks, but also it feels like it is meta. We see the Hachiman again. We see the Sun Wukong again. We see the Thor, the Baba Yaga, and the Susanoo. I would say 5 out of the 10 picks are current meta picks that are frequently seen in higher level play, and that's exactly what this is our godlike division. And so you expect to see some of these very strong gods played, and I can name especially the Baba Yaga pick. You had talked about Chiron's coin. I would also say that it affects Prophetic Cloak. If you want to build a little more tanky, you can do that with Baba Yaga. You can do a little bit of different types of builds. You talked about Sun Wukong, what you can do different with him going soldier or going straight into protection. So there's a lot of different choices for both teams here. I'm leaning a little bit towards probably Seismic Shockwaves. I love their team comp as of right now.
I feel like Stormcallers is a bit more meta when you get the Sun Wukong, Hachiman, Yamoja, but Seismic Shockwaves has a lot of utility and a lot of follow-up, and especially a lot of global presence with that Athena Thor. Stormcallers doesn't have a global ultimate like Seismic Shockwaves does. I guess Sun Wukong can kind of get himself to Tread's verse stuff, but that's about it. That Thor Athena thing coming on, you just don't know what the heck you're doing, right? You can double that down too. You can start ulting on Thor's Athena, have him go up in the air, and then just slam back down, and then you get 2 for the price of 1. And that's always something you got to deal with. So if they can execute that perfectly, I think Seismic Shockwaves is going to be in a good spot, and Stormcallers is going to have to be figuring out what they want to do.
Figure out is what we're going to have to do as well as we go. We're ready to get into the game here with Kingfsher and Vi on the cast.
Hello, everyone. My name is ViVi, and joined by Kingfsher here, bringing you the Godlike division game between number 3 Stormcallers and number 8 Seismic Shockwaves. So they're definitely going to be looking to get their first win of the season here.
Absolutely. You never like starting off that season with some losses, especially down on the leaderboards. But, you know, it's a long season. They got a lot of time to prove themselves. We've already seen they're a pretty good comp. Do have the first overall pick in the Godlike draft, STAILUS. Still waiting to see a really big impact from that player. Had a great run in the playoffs last year.
Yeah, I have seen him play a little bit. I've seen him play in Olympus Smite League, and let's just say, very impressive play coming out of the solo lane. And Lycan, low health bar already. Naja taking a ton of poke against this Baba Yaga Thor combo in this mid lane. Gonna have to play a little safe.
Yeah, you always think about Susanoo, kind of the late game menace, does a pretty good amount of damage in the mid game as well. Lycan, though, still hanging around the mid wave, back up to half HP, so it shouldn't be under too much pressure. And already the Hachimon trying to get aggressive over and left. They got Raymond low.
Yeah, I mean, no surprise. It's Yaboja and Hachi, man. Two just very powerful picks in this duo lane. Just have a ton of pressure, great clear. And, I mean, I'm sure we're going to see Stormcallers just constantly push this duo lane up.
I'd certainly expect that. They do have a very aggressive lane, like you said, and the Corsa casters mentioned on the desk. Dragoon been pretty top of the competition these last few years. Might be in trouble, though. Aggressing made the presence in mid, moves towards the left lane, but content with just the gold buff for now.
Yeah, just get a little farm. I mean, and that's something I think we can kind of talk about here. The difference between divisions. You know, at the Godlike division, I feel like fighting is something we see a little less of compared to the lower level divisions. It's just a lot more methodical play, a lot more micro play going on here. So, not surprised to just see a nice simple buff taken back and get your next item.
Definitely some more tactical plays coming out of this division. Not to say they don't love fighting. We've seen our fair share of, seems like 60 kill games within 20 minutes from this division, but every fight they take it for a reason. Might still be a reason both side lanes here for the Stormcallers. Very push up, only an XP lead in solo, but keeping a Cernos behind and keeping an Athena behind especially is something you really want to try to control, really kind of mitigate the impact that Archie can have this game.
So, I got a question for you. RedBuffBandit. Do we think we're going to see him live up to his name? Do we think we're going to see a red buff get invaded? Because I'm personally going to be very disappointed if he's, you know, lying to me right to my face with his name, and we're not going to see a single red buff be taken.
I mean, off the top of my head, it can be hard to remember how many times they do invade red buffs. They are a very aggressive player in mid, though. They've certainly showed up this season, and in Scouting Grounds as well, I think made a very big splash in the Godlike division. So not out of the table. And on Maureen Le Fay, a pick that can be very aggressive, deal a lot of damage, get themselves out of trouble. Of course, that Dragon push, extremely, extremely powerful with dealing with kind of the self-peel that you really like your mid laners to have.
I always like to reference Mifflin, just with his analysis on the Dragon, always just calling the unavoidable, very frustrating self-peel ability out of that mid lane, and like exactly what it does. Super frustrating as we see a bit of boxing going on for the shield buff. Will be stolen here by the Stormcallers, though. Raymond take a lot of poke. The Riptide coming out and dash in onto Raymond. Shell in beads coming out of Seismic Shockwaves, but here comes Susanoo. He is ready. He's got the Typhoon. He is knocking up, but Dragoon really wants to kill, but he will not get it. Unfortunately, will fall. Aggressing and getting credit for that first blood. Strat forced to back away, but getting chased on down by the Susanoo. Great pull back in, and that is a double kill to start off this game.
That's a start you want to have if you're the Seismic Shockwaves. We knew that we'd be coming out here aggressive, looking for a win. STAILUS still trying to get away now from Storm. Dodges a stun, so should be okay. And I like Hachimon trying to stick around there, getting the kill. Knew they weren't going to outrun a Susanoo and an Athena. Probably smart from them. I feel like Strat could have maybe backed up sooner and saved the life. But, you know, the pass is the pass. They're down 2 kills. We've already talked about how aggressive that lane can be. Now they really kind of have to take that to the next level to catch back up with Archie and Raymond, who both have a level lead.
Yeah, both level 5 in this duo lane. You gotta make sure that Stormcallers really just can't fight. I mean, obviously they're close to level 5 themselves, but getting that gold difference already, not a good sign. I kind of want to touch on the different starts we're seeing out of these carries. We do see this, I'm going to assume it's the Aussie coming out of the Hachiman, but then the standard Dev Gloves coming out of Raymond. What is the benefits to both of these starts?
I think obviously for the Devo's glove, it's just getting that lifesteal online early. It also does stack physical power a little bit. Might have to wait to get a stack though. Cernos in trouble.
Yeah, Cerno in trouble, but a beautiful wild hunt itself. Peel himself. Dragoon will actually end up falling and not getting the kill, but like it, at least will pick up Raymond. 1-for-1 trade, both ADCs down. And Susano on the rotation, but just a little too late. But buffs are spawning. Might get a little treat for himself.
Trying to look for the Neja now. Gets a pull, but a lot of HP there still from Lycon. Aggressing has to use the beads to get away. Rare misstep there from the Seismic Shockwaves jungler. It shouldn't be end of the world, though. Already been making some very aggressive plays. Maybe just has to kind of pull back on the reins for the next 2 minutes.
Let's talk about RedBuffBandit living up to his name, but Aggressing showed to me that he's going to live up to his name, being very hyper-aggressive. And I mean, and you got to feel good after that double kill to start the game. It makes sense, but almost, you know, could have lost his life. Did have the beads, but having to use that definitely going to stink. So now that's going to be down for just over 2 minutes, meaning that Stormcallers can definitely capitalize off this, especially with an ultimate such as the Wind Fire Wheels out of Lycan here. Great for setting up some just massive burst damage. So Aggressing's going to probably have to play a little safer, but I say that, but he's actually just going to wait around the corner for a Dragoon. Already getting him down to half health. Typhoon is ready. Will start popping it, but a beautiful dash by Dragoon, getting him completely out of safety, avoiding that ultimate, and we'll just head right back to lane.
Good positioning there from the Hachimon to save themselves. Susano, probably one of the scariest characters to run into in the middle of a jungle. Really pretty low chance of living through that one. If that Typhoon hit, maybe could have picked up the kill, but Dragoon puts a lot of space between themselves and the jungler, able to walk out alive. And you talked about the build differences in ADC, but look in the mid lane as well. It's going to be a first item Warlock staff for the Baba Yaga. Normally, I'd kind of question that, but on that character, kind of come to expect it, as now both supports can show up in left.
Both support showing up and left, but one very unfortunate pause here as the fight was about to break up. But we'll head back to the desk here, and we'll be back shortly.
Sorry, you're muted.
Excuse me, I don't know what a mute button is. Sorry about that. We're not gonna make a look at the pause screen, so I gotta say it's starting out pretty solid, but also same time pretty tame. What do you think so far, Fenix?
Thing is, looking like that 3-1 score might not be telling the whole story. And as Kingfsher was just saying, we did see the Warlock stuff on the Baba Yaga. This means that you were correct. They're going towards a more stacking.
Take
Gonna be
advantage
using
of
that
that
house.
passive, yep.
Yeah, and that's what you got to do. I hope to see that. We didn't see the clearance coin though, right? Like that's what you would expect to usually see in that first slot, and that's what people are building in this current meta. But I guess Warlock staff still works. It's not ethereal staff, thankfully.
I think Warlock staff is always a decent item to build on Baba Yaga. You get the free stacks as well as laning. So there's no reason not to get it. I feel like maybe you can get more power or more utility out of different items, but when you're playing Baba Yaga, you always have the advantage of taking those stacks and getting them easy, so it's not like you're really using too much. But we got the signal that we're gonna go back into game, and ViVi and Fisher will meet you there.
Hello, everyone. We are back in action. Looks like the duo lane fight didn't really happen. Both teams probably looked to back away. But we say that, but their Lycan is on the rotation. The shield buff is up, but there is a ward. They are aware of this, and they're just going to give that buff away and get back to farming.
Probably the smart move. Definitely don't want to risk any player lives for a buff right about now. And especially with Archie still being there on full HP, not too much of a threat over onto the Cernos. And already the jungler has been getting extremely active, participating in 3 out of the 4 kills so far. And we see this a lot. Some gank-heavy junglers can kind of tend to get behind on farm. Really not going to happen this game, though. I'd expect it this division. Both these junglers certainly going to know, when they need to pull back and when they need to start hitting some minions.
I gotta say, I have a ton of respect for, these high-level jungle players. Just being able to just know these timers on, like, the back of your hand and just be there when you need to be. as a lowly plat level player myself, I can say that that is something I don't think I can possibly even do. My brain is struggling enough to just hit my abilities, let alone remember every single time or where I should be and how to rotate to them. So great showing from these top level junglers, but RedBuffBandit getting caught out, getting taunted right back in, just forces the ultimate out. Typhoon does not finish off, but a nice little auto out of Aggressing will and a killing spree for the Seismic Shockwaves jungler. Oh, I thought we were done, but we are not done. Looks like we are having a bit of a fight over here. We did see the Thor ult with the Athena ult combo on to Lycan and Storm, but unfortunately no follow-up there, as they are just going to evade the jungle here and leave it at that.
Still looking at Strat, but the emoji being full health means Seismic Shockwaves likely won't want to commit. Now, 4 kills to 1, and I feel like the objectives is something all of us share twos always talk about, you know, always thinking towards the next objective. How do you get that gold lead? And ever since this new season with the beacons, it feels like that 12-minute mark is really the time where both these teams kind of shift their focus onto the bigger things. Would love to see Shockwaves take this lead, maybe transform it into a Gold Fury. They got some players on the left-hand side of the map, and unfortunately so do the Stormcallers. Lycan hits a good sash.
It is going to be interesting now that you bring up objectives to see how these teams will play around it. I'm looking at Secure on both sides and not seeing a much. I mean, the best Secure I could probably see is Baba, but like, it's nothing compared to like I'm a monster out of Scylla, right? That's just really not going to bring. I guess you got the Wild Hunt as well, but it's going to be interesting to see how both these teams will pull these objectives, especially with the recent changes in that 10.6 update where these objectives are a bit more tanky and not as easy to just sneak away like they were before.
And I like that you bring up Scylla too. I was really surprised going into the draft they didn't choose to pair a mage with a really hard-hitting ultimate with that Neja. I mean, it's a timeless combo. It's one we saw literally last night in the Divine game with the Stormcallers. And it's something that works very well. Like you said, not a ton of huge secure tools. I mean, maybe the Typhoon or the Wild Hunt if you get lucky. Now both these ADCs still boxing. You would think it's solo lane the way the action's been over here.
Look, you want to make sure your player damage stats are looking really nice at the end of the game, because that way you can say it's not your fault if you lose. I appreciate the strat coming out of both these ADCs, but Aggressing, showing his face once more onto Dragoon, forcing him to get onto his little horsey, and he will get away to safety. But Raymond stepping up, looked like he wanted to stop the back, and does scare Dragoon a little bit. But I can't see the chance of any fight happening any longer.
Both Shockwave players do still have their ultimate. Maybe could have seen a full engage, and with Athena on the left-hand side, then try it. Dragoon still has the beads, but might not be safe under that tier 1 tower. I'd almost expect the dive to come out, but it looks like they're going to settle for the purple buff and walk away. Seismic Shockwaves just continue to grow that lead.
And taking a look at this XP and gold difference, about 4.5k in XP. Getting pretty substantial at 11.5 minutes here. Gold lead, the biggest, a little under 2k, but of course we know how Smite game works. That 2k can turn into 6k real quickly, as we're getting close to that point where these objectives are definitely going to be in the eyes of these teams. But a big fight coming out as Ribs Rebuke forced out, and then this home sweet home. Baba is throwing some fireballs out. Unfortunately though, not doing too much damage. Athena taunting them back into a Typhoon, and that gets a kill. Lycan falling to TypicalJava, and Strat super low, has to run away. Beacon about to spawn, very unfortunate time to lose a life, but Thor comes in and completely whiffs, does get the stun, will get the kill. STAILUS getting himself a kill, backing on up, Beacon spawning, and Seismic Shockwaves are going to look to take this.
They do have some low HP bars here. The Baba Yaga is low, but that fight could not have been any better time. They pick up the kills exactly when they need them. Stygian Beacon goes over to the Shockwaves just 15 seconds after the spawn. And the first time we see STAILUS rotate out, able to pick up a kill. That's what you want to see from that Thor. That semi-global ultimate can be so useful in those fights. Now, once again, the ADCs have decided they don't need the junglers to battle it out. Gold buff going to be the main point of contest.
Oh yeah, we're definitely gonna see some juggling. That's no longer 1v1. Athena decided to show up with that Defender of Olympus, making sure that that shield buff goes away of Raymond, giving him a bit of an extra lead. We do see him about a level ahead, probably carrying over from that early game aggression. But RedBuffBandit and Strat both rotated on over to this dual lane. Riptide does force Athena back up a little bit, getting CC'd, but not enough damage to quite make a dent into her. Probably looking to get that pick for this Gold Fury. Like it also getting spot out here, but well able to get to safety.
And we mentioned very early in the game, the lack of secure from both these teams means those objectives like the Gold Fury, like the Pyromancer that you would normally say like, okay, we have a lead, we can step up and try it. If they show up, we just turn and burn. Those are going to be a complete 50-50 now. Both these teams really going to be looking for those kills to set them apart. We haven't talked about this yet. The XP lead for the support, it was just 3, now 2 levels for the Athena. I think we mentioned in the early game not wanting an Athena and a Cernunnos ahead. You've already seen it with Archie spreading themselves out very well, and right now they're going on to RedBuffBandit. Morgan Le Fay dropping to half.
RedBuffBandit in a lot of trouble, forcing into the ultimate. Will be able to self-peel himself out of there, but getting poked out means that this Gold Fury might be the target. But no, they actually look at Hachiman, but Hachi spots it out. They're going to back up in a 4-man grouping around here. Thor possibly looking to rotate over, will be rotated over. Going to have to watch out for that Anvil of Dawn. Very sneaky team. Speaking of, going right into it. Just out of range, but maybe waiting for RedBuffBandit. Probably doesn't even know. Lands right on him. Great hammer. But unfortunately, though, RedBuffBandit was very quick on those beads, so no wall to get the stun off there. But Lycan taking a fight here by the shield, but Raymond dashing away, but you can't escape the man on the horse. Goodbye, Raymond. 2 kills going the way of Stormcallers here. The Thor and Athena both showing up. Both are tanks. Well, quote tanks, if you want to call Thor a tank here. Which you gotta. He's a soul laner. But Lycan now in a ton of trouble. Getting taunted back in. Double taunt. Strat in. Lycan to launch up. Home sweet home. Just dunking fireball after fireball onto both. That is going to be a turnaround kill for Seismic Shockwaves. Susano's up. Raymond's going to be up here shortly. And the fight just keeps going. Athena once again getting a top, but doesn't look like the rest of the team really wants to take this fight. Thor actually going to back. And still, Gold Fury standing.
Might remain standing for a long time too. Seismic Shockwaves, after it seems like 5 minutes, finally decide to disengage from the fight. They lost 2, they did pick up 1 on the back end though, so good on them, keeping Lycon and Aggressing similar in levels. Obviously, just like an Athena, you kind of don't want a Neja too far ahead, and the Chaos team making sure that doesn't happen. And you mentioned the Gold Fury during that fight. It's maybe a little bit too much to contest right now. Wonder if we're going to see either of these teams turn to Pyro. Stormcallers do have 3 players here on the right side of the map against only a Thor. It's certainly not a sure thing, but it's probably the best look anybody's had at an objective yet.
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about not having any good secure on either side. We also don't have great burn on either side. It's going to be really tough. Like you said, it's just going to rely on completely getting a kill. But speaking of kill, RedBuffBandit getting dunked on again by this Thor. Does Aegis it, forcing the ultimate out of the Morgan Le Fay. Heals up a little bit. But that ult is now down. Same with both relics out of this mid laner. That's good. I can only assume RedBuffBandit's going to be the next target again in this next fight. But unfortunately, it won't have the tools to secure it. But Pyromancer, like you mentioned, being pulled.
Pyro is going to be the pull. You mentioned the slow burn. We're seeing it better here. They don't have the Cernunnos with them. It's a 4v2. I'd like to see them continue the objective. They might be looking for the fight in mid, though. And indeed, Archie going to get a taunt. Here comes Aggressing.
Yeah, Aggressing coming in. Beautiful recognition by Lycan, just completely ulting away, not wanting to be a part of that. Gets himself out. Does get the Typhoon out of Aggressing as well. And now, Stormcallers are grouped up, but the ADCs are still in the left lane just fighting. Once again, we keep going over here. They're just fighting over the shield buff. They really like fighting over here. But respect, you know? Like I said, you want to bump up those player damage numbers. Supports kind of just walking around with each other, getting ready for a possible dual lane gank. But the difference is, one of them has a way to get there from across the map, and the other has to, you know, just walk very slowly through the jungle.
Athena not gonna opt to ult though. The gold buff fight continues and Stormcallers finally gonna come away with it. Dragoon pushed very far up in lane, has a mounted archery, might need to use it. Athena dropping some damage. The dash will do it from now. TypicalJava around the side though, can't land the damage.
Yeah, now Dragoon's in a lot of trouble. Rebuke utilized, but Dragoon decided to use that force offensively. It will get a kill, but will actually end up falling. 1-for-1 trade so far in this fight. Make that a 2-for-1 as Raymond falls. Lycan with a double kill. Now TypicalJava trying to run away with her sweet little pop, and she's not going to be able to get it quite fast enough. But the health bar, actually, maybe she will. Baba Yaga is living, and now Aggressing's here with a Typhoon. Beautiful double knockup, beautiful turnaround. RedBuffBandit will now fall, and now STAILUS is here. Both these assassins and the Midlaner still sticking around and able to get a kill after all of that. Lycan on the retreat, and now maybe we might see the possible Gold Fury. Maybe. Oh, we're not done yet. Theta coming in, Defender of Olympus. Hello, she just came. She was just here. She's now right back. Another kill on the Seismic Shockwaves side.
Certainly opens up the map. Now only Sun Wukong and Hachiman standing for the Stormcallers. And what a great turnaround there from the Shockwaves. I thought they were in trouble, but the Baba Yaga somehow lived. Storm, same cannot be said, starting to take the beacon, dropping low. Somersault Cloud can't happen soon enough. Does find the bowl out, so Shockwave's gonna take the beacon. I'd love to see them push for a Gold Fury or a Pyromancer, but just might not happen yet.
Fortunately, it looks like we do have another pause, so, well, we're gonna have to be throwing it back to the desk here, and we'll be back shortly.
Hello and welcome back. I've managed to unpause this time, but my lighting is in trouble, so we'll just stick with this. This game's been compressed a little bit more, and it's a bit of the same place as it was originally, just scaled back a little bit. We were about 1-3 when we first paused, and now the kills have grown about the same amount for each team. What do you think's going on here, Fenix? What do you like what you see so far?
Yeah, I think that I've seen Thor make a lot of rotations in the mid lane already. That's quite a large thing to do, especially if you got a lot of space to do. We don't need to worry about that too much anymore because I think the game is already ready to get back into. We're going to leave you again, and we might see you again. I don't know.
We are back once more, and we just want to give you a little break to go, say hi to COG Champion Phoenix. All right, that's really the whole reason for that pause. So hopefully you enjoyed the little intermission, but we are back in the action. Looks like Beacon was taken by Seismic Shockwaves and Pyro up. You talked about that being the next target here for these teams, but how are they still fighting? I was just talking about how usually at this level of play, we see these teams kind of, play a lot more methodical. Usually if they get a kill, it's because they're gonna get something right after that kill. Now we have 16 kills in just about 20 minutes, almost a kill per minute. I'm baffled, I'll be honest.
Seems like kind of an eternal team fight. Neither team can get out. Would love to see, honestly, either of them at this point just disengage, take stock, and try to make something happen. Not the case so far, though. Like you said, Pyromancer, Gold Fury, both still stand 20 minutes into this game. And I know objectives have been getting looked at much, much later this patch with the Beacons and the Titans, but still, this is kind of an oddity, especially for this division, who's normally so crisp with the gameplay. Strat over here on the left-hand side might be caught out of position. Still down in XP, but not caught out in the enemy jungle. And there's a solo lane we all love.
Look, we gotta be friends first, There's no need to be mean to your solo laner. I mean, we're here to have a good time. You're in lane for so long, you gotta become friends with them. So, nice little dance. Once again, though, the action on the dual lane side, I get it. I get why we're fighting a lot. We talked about how there's no burn, there's no secure. We kind of have to play around the fact that we have to get kills. But like you said, just very turtly. Do you think there's a way that either of these teams can maybe change up how these fights go to make sure that they can finally look at one of these objectives?
For me, it has to be commitment every single fight that's been started this game, kind of regardless of which team it's on. Both teams have felt non-committal, they've looked to get out kind of at the earliest possible point. We've yet to see a team really say, we're going to go for this play. Either it's going to work or it's not going to work. It's just kind of been a lot of back and forth, a lot of, I don't think timidness is the right word, but probably respect for one another and the other team's damage. One of these teams just has to decide we're going to try to do something and see if it works out. Otherwise, it's going to be a 50-minute game and we're going to be at the exact same point.
Now here's a side to see. We got our solo laners at level 20. There's still no objective taken. I feel like this is one of my ranked games right now. You know, where you're like, all right, cool, we're laying your faces down. Let's go get objective. And it's 30 minutes, and you haven't done anything. You're still trying to push towers, and you get a little frustrated. But Seismic Shockwaves say, no, we're gonna go for another kill. We want Pyromancer. We are over here on the right side of this map, but unfortunately, though, just can't commit to that fight. Having to back up. No ultimates expended by either side. It's also no relic, so neither side really getting anything in this exchange. But I say that as Seismic Shockwaves are trying to sneak away. This Pyromancer is getting pretty low. Great taunt, and the Storm almost secures it. Beads the taunt. And unfortunately, though, was not enough. First objective finally down 22 minutes into this game.
They finally did it. They did get one down. Runic Bomb now going to be in pocket, and they're not done fighting either. Storm dropping to about half health. Sun Wukong does have the ultimate, not going to need to use it. I was really surprised Shockwaves didn't kind of press W at that red buff. Obviously, we have a very different point of view up here, maybe not realizing that they were on the better end of a 4v3. And look at the kill totals. They've been getting the better end of most of these fights. Now we do see him on the left-hand side of the map. Gold Fury is up. Seismic Shockwaves, they have a lead. It's a small one, but I'd still like to see him use it. Gold Fury finally going to be pulled by the Chaos team.
Seismic Shockwaves pulling this about half health. Thor up in the air to zone. Stormcallers looking to maybe just let this go. Not in a great position to defend it. Thor led in the middle of 4 of them. Oh, you missed 4 people, buddy. Don't know. STAILUS though able to get out. It's Thor. He's got a hammer. He's gonna get on now. Their Strat trying to do something, but a huge Typhoon to help peel for the team. Goldfear was taken during all that, but did cause some low health bars on this side. And Stormcallers saying, all right, now is the time to go. Rivers of Rebuke catching 2 of them off guard, and Aggressing cannot get. Beautiful setup by the support from Stormcallers. 1 kill down, but unfortunately, that's all they're going to be able to get.
STAILUS still trying to run away and probably going to be successful in doing it. Stormcallers finally get one back. And it looked like maybe, you want to say miscommunication between the team? STAILUS wanted to go in, rest of the team wanted to leave. Fortunately for them, it only ends in 1 death, but STAILUS still sticking around, stunned out by Sun Wukong. Hachiman getting the damage, but here comes Athena.
Defender of Olympus utilized once more. Now Dragoon completes the pretty for his team getting caught up. The rest of the team is back here. Raymond getting kill credit for that one. Dragoon thought he might be able to just pick on a Thor out of position. Little did he know, he was not out of position. He was just baiting in the team, and it worked. Dragoon down for 40 seconds now. And just like that, Seismic Shockwaves take 2 objectives to get some kills. Possibly you go look at a Fire Giant. Animal Dot up again. Runs on down. Misses RedBuffBandit, but does get the Aegis. Might actually get the kill, but the Dragon we were talking about for beautiful self-peel says, get the heck on off of me. Thor forced to back up, and RedBuffBandit will live a little bit longer.
Stormcallers lucky to escape with only 1 dead out of that engagement, but what a great job on the disengage. Storm and Strat both making space, and we've mentioned it probably 10 times. Morgan Le Fay finding the dragon and saving her own life. Storm now is over here on the left-hand side of the map. STAILUS teleports in. Fire Giant under half HP. If Seismic Shockwaves can get this, it'll be a huge boon to the team lead.
Absolutely. Typhoon utilize the Fire Giants low. This is going to be a 50-50. They have to be careful. They actually might drop it. They will. So low. Will the Stormcallers decided to pick it up? Who knows? Like it. Super low in the backline. Raymond tried to get the kill. Will not get the kill. His middler said, nope, thank you. That is mine. I want to boost my stat line up just a little bit more. Seismic Shockwaves, though, looking to gauge a little bit further. Strat will fall. That is 2 kills for the Seismic Shockwaves. Dragoon and STAILUS on a boxing match, but, well, one's a hunter, one's an assassin. And, well, we know how this game works. Rock, paper, scissors, Dragoon just out-damaging the Thor. Defender of Olympus utilized to come back in typical Java. A little bit low. Dragoon uses the ultimate, but stops it early to try to turn around, maybe get some damage, and will pay with his life. That is now 3 members dead. RedBuffBandit, the next target available. Does utilize the ult, has no relics, has to use soul tools as disposal to try to get out. Does have great self-peel, but, well, you can't self-peel a taunt. Goodbye, RedBuffBandit. 4 fall. Only 1 remains. Storm up, and FG gonna be the next target.
Feels like we were talking about it just a few minutes ago, and we finally see one of these teams commit to a big fight. They don't end up getting the Fire Giant, but they get 4 kills. Seismic Shockwaves with a great team fight, and now they're going to be prepared. Titans marching down the lane in just a few seconds. We've seen it a lot from every division. This Titan push is really where you can kind of extend that gold lead, already grown up to 5,500. But this team has 2 choices to make. Do they go with the Titan or do they go with the Fire Giant? could influence the rest of the game. They're going to have to make the right choice here, and it looks like they're all headed to the right lane.
Yeah, Titans are being pushed up. The new mechanic introduced in 10.6. Storm getting a rest on should be okay. Has some good distance. Won't get taunted back on in. But yeah, Titans. It's quite a hot topic. I mean, Beacon, I think, is quite an interesting addition. But seeing how these teams play around these Titans is something that always fascinates me. How do you want to see both these teams play around these Titan pushes right now?
If I was Stormcallers, they're very spread out. I think the most they can hope for is maybe a tier 2 defense. If I'm Seismic Shockwaves, you kill the tier 1 tower, you kill the enemy Titan, and you try to get a Fenix out of this. I don't know if enough teams really appreciate just how much health those Titans have for sieges. It seems like they might let it go to the wayside. They kill the enemy Titan, but just using it as space might see them pull back towards a Fire Giant. Stormcallers gonna have to make a choice on which objective to defend.
Say that, but it looks like they actually might look like they're trying to just, you know, fool them a little bit. Does taunt like it back in, gets the beads. RedBuffBandit low once more. Does have the beads back up. Does utilize it, but so unfortunately Thor's damage is just too much. But Lycan on the backline will at least pick up Raymond. So one carry for one carry as well. Lycan trying to get out, gets taunted back in once more into the home, sweet home. Goodbye, Lycan. You are out of here. 2 kills on the for this fight. 3 if you count Raymond also falling. And this Titan's super low, but they might want to push up the Fenix. They do have 2 bombs to utilize if they want. STAILUS now in a lot of trouble. Almost dies to Storm, but has no health. Well, now he technically has no health as STAILUS will end up falling. Titan down as well. Bomb was also used in that fight. Unfortunately, it looks like Shockwaves picked the wrong objective to go for.
They really tripped me up at first there. I saw them all go into the jungle. I'm like, oh, okay, they're just going to use it as a distraction. They're going to try for a Fire Giant pull. And they have to commit to the fight, and I like seeing them follow through. And they do get a tier 2 tower, not the end of the world. They get a few kills on the back end. Stormcallers, though, probably happy they still have their Fenix standing. More than that, now they're going to be able to regain some control of that jungle. I'd love to see them go out and ward aggressively. You know, Shockwaves have been playing this game pretty fast-paced. They have a ton of kills in their pockets. I'm sure that the Primal Fury, the Fire Giant, is already on their minds. And as we speak, we see all of them grouping up on the left-hand side of the map. Dragoon gonna rotate over to the right. Stormcallers know where they are. Would love to see them push a fight here.
Yeah, Primal Fury gonna go down without contention. Stormcallers, as soon as they hear that, they may look to do something, but STAILUS showing his face, making sure they aren't gonna be able to just sneak that away. While we have a quick moment, as you know, they're not fighting. Woohoo! Want to kind of talk about this breastplate pickup from this Baba Yaga. Typically defense items on Baba, we see that prophetic cloak, obviously, because you can stack it super easily. But breastplate of vigilance, already getting the glyph as well. How do you feel about this?
I mean, it's definitely not a bad pick, especially for Baba Yaga. Getting that damage reduction out of the ult is nice. STAILUS might need some of that. Athena ulting over. Thor's in trouble, not going to get to the skies.
Oh, no. Just try to get out of there with a sneaky hammer immediately into the ultimate, but getting completely kind of out of position. Which now, Stormcallers in a good spot. Aggressing as well. Kind of getting caught out. Does get the bubble off of him. Lycan may want to take this 1v1. Has to be careful though, as the rest of the team is grouping around there. Storm TPing back in. It's a 4v5. But it looks like Lycan getting caught out in this middle lane. Loses about half his health. Both ultimates of these assassins also down. We're having another fight. Why not? It's Arena 2.0. We love to see it. Storm goes onto the somersault cloud. Watching, waiting, and running away. Pyromancer though. At least it's gotta get something out of this fight.
Raymond looking to steal, though, does have the Wild Hunt and gonna use it a tad too early, but he steals it anyway.
No. Very unfortunate there for Stormcallers. They haven't gotten a single objectives, and then Seismic Shockwave steals the one that they almost had. It just continues to expand this gold lead, about 8k now. All level 20s on the side of Seismic Shockwaves, so that XP difference, not too bad, because I think Stormcallers are roughly the same spot. I believe support's the only one, not support in mid. Shocking to see mid at 31 minutes. Not that level 20 yet.
To be fair, the last 10 minutes have been just utter team fighting. There really hasn't been a whole ton of farming going on. So maybe you can give the Morgan a pass just this one time. Now Shockwaves have kind of been on the forefoot the entire second half of this game. They're going to get aggressive position by the Fire Giant. We saw this last time around. They started it and then they dropped it to go for kills, and it worked out really well for them. But now the Fire Giant's in hands. This is one objective you want in your pocket. Stormcallers have to be very, very careful with how they position themselves here.
Absolutely. Look at the ward coverage. Looks like, you know, Stormcallers got a couple wards, but definitely Seismic Shockwaves dominating the ward vision here around this FG, and will actually end up starting it. Now, this is dangerous. No secure, no great burn. Especially when you have Yomojal, which is, I mean, not the greatest at stealing, but what amazing interruption. Speaking of interruption, let's go to another fight. Dragoon getting just caught out on the ultimate by the Thorn. Defender of Olympus also coming in, giving him some mitigation to help him out as much as he can. Lycan dashes on it with the Windfire wheels. Here comes the Riven's Rebuke I was talking about, separating a couple of the members, but not enough follow-up from those carries as RedBuffBandit is on the right side, trying to take on this Thorn in a 1v1. Aggressing, though, blinks on in, forces the ultimate out of the Morgan Le Fay. Still no kills, but a ton of tools utilized from both sides, but we are not done quite yet. Storm watching. Both teams gonna back away for the time being.
Both teams lucky to have nobody die. All the members still stand for both of these squads, and that's a second fight we've seen this game where STAILUS ulted in really, really aggressively, got some big damage, big stuns, and none of the team follows up. Did not pay for it with their life this time, but Seismic Shockwaves need to get a little bit more coordination in these fights. They need to be diving at the same time, because that Thorn Susano combo, it's deadly. There's really not too much you can do to get out of that one, except for hoping that Strat goes massive with the Emoja, which they have so far. Oni Furies go over to the Shockwaves. Now, once again, they're going to have the advantage as they get out of there before anybody notices. Stormcallers going to have another big defense ahead of them.
Oni Fury taking away. Now giving them a little bit of, you know, making sure that Stormcallers have to at least worry about it. Granted, I don't think none of these Oni waves are really going to be able to take a bird, but another fight breaking out. 3v3, 4v4 as we see STAILUS behind here. On to the Morgan Le Fay once more. Heroism proc. That was not a heroism proc. That was just a shell. That was like a big shield to me. RedBuffBandit, though, and Dragoon, both carries taking some electric damage from that Anvil of Dawn. And just like that, got some low health bars, but Lycan with the Windfire wheels does get Aggressing back up in the air. Raymond gets a kill on him, though. Aggressing actually maybe he'll get out. Somersault Cloud is used. He's going for the kill. Will at least get one, but the rest of his team is losing this fight. They already lost 2 members. RedBuffBandit going to be that 3rd member. That is a double kill for the Seismic Shockwaves ADC, and then that's going to be a rampage for the mid laner here as Strat, the only one to survive.
They have Oni Waves marching down all the lanes. Who needs a Fire Giant when you have a 4v1? It's going to be 35 seconds before Lycan gets back up. All Seismic Shockwaves grouping in mid. Strat, the last line of defense between himself and a Game 1 loss.
He does still have that Ribs Rebuke, not able to save the Fenix, but can still buy time for the Titan, possibly. But they say, no, we're going to push in. We don't need Fire Giant. We are here. We are ready. What are you going to do? We have Oni minion waves coming on, and Ribs Rebuke is utilized. Saves a little bit of time, but it's not good enough. Lycan's got 6 seconds, 5 seconds. Celia's low, but it doesn't matter. The rest of the team is just burning away. Strat's trying his best, eating these autos, but unfortunately will fall right at the same time as the Titan. Seismic Shockwaves taking game number 1.
What a solid victory coming out from Seismic Shockwaves. Seen from start to finish, they had control. Wasn't necessarily too defined from the beginning, but you definitely see that lead growing as they were going on, especially in that Susano. He was a real menace, at least for the first 2 pauses that I remember.
Yeah, there were a lot of pauses that game. It felt like I think that iNooblet made the joke, Smite pause league. Yeah, sometimes it happens. It happens. You know, someone's internet goes out, something like that. But I agree with you, man. That Susano was looking like a little fluid guy walking around the jungle, no problems. And I think the stat will show the exact same thing. But also, man, STAILUS on the Thor, 33k damage, doing 10k or 11k more damage than Aggressing on Susano. Not as big of a picture as these wards placed by Seismic Shockwaves. Yeah, I'll get out of the way here as well. Oh my goodness, dude. The
12,
amount...
14, 11, 24 coming out of the jungle. I don't think I've ever seen anyone in the SDL get past 20. That might be a lie, and someone's going to call me out later, but I don't care. Very, very solid play coming out of the Shockwaves, and I got to write that Thor build down because he's doing massive numbies, more player damage than anyone else in the game, and really utilizing Thor's full potential. So Seismic Shockwaves, like we're saying, really, really solid hold of game 1. I love the Baba Yaga going 5-0, really abusing the power of those stacks. Warlock Staff, we were talking about it earlier, but one thing we didn't really hit on is it gives the power too, but it's also a good defensive item as well as the prophetic, right? So you can get those health stacks coming on as well. And it's really good for power and to kind of help you out. So we really see that coming through for that Baba Yaga.
Yeah, and the Baba Yaga is a great note, but we got to talk about these game 2. If we're walking into this game wondering what do we do if we're Storm, if we're Lycon, or if we're Strat, RedBuffBandit, and Dragoon, this team has to look at it and say, we got to do something different this game than we did last game. I think that doesn't really exactly start with the comp because, as you said, that comp is very strong going their way. It's very meta. In some way, it's very good on the CC side of the situation, especially. And so, where did it fall through? And I think we might have to lead that towards the aggressiveness that they were not able to do during the big old team fights. They didn't group up the same way that the Shockwaves did. And so I would expect to see Stormcallers possibly try to regroup and have a better unified and coordinated fight in their favor around these objectives instead of what happened last game, where it felt like they were a little bit everywhere, going in one at a time and not landing some of those bigger abilities that they really needed to.
And one thing I can see here, as I saw in some of the Divine sets I've been watching, is there needs to be a purpose to some of your ganks or some of your kills, right? If you're gonna kill someone, well, why are you gonna kill him? Well, just to kill him, to get him behind. Well, that's fine, but what can you get from it? If the buff timers are just starting out, you're not gonna get his back. You're not gonna starve him that way. He's gonna be back for it. Look for an objective, right? All right, let's force a gank on this on the hunter, so that way we can then force his rest team over. We kill them, and then we get gold, right? Like you need a solid plan because they were talking a lot in the game how you're looking for the objectives, right? And if you don't get them and you wait too long, you're just not helping yourself out. Especially if you're in the lead too, because if you're in the lead and you're not pushing it by getting these objectives, it's giving the enemy team every opportunity to bounce back, right? So that's less gold that's not going to you. So let's say you're in the lead, right? You're just bullying through, but you're not getting the gold fury or the pyromancer because you're too nervous. Well, it might not go to the enemy team, but that's gold that's not going to you. That's experience that's not going to you. And you're letting them fight back through the camps, the jungles itself. And it's harder to maintain that than it is to take your lead and just start taking objectives. So I think in the next game, I want to see a bit more objective-based play. And I want to see them trying to get these gold furies, these pyromancers, really asserting a lead and just running away with it, whether it is Seismic Shockwaves or it is Stormcallers.
Something we didn't talk about at all, which, by the way, all those things are great points, but have you realized these are the two new names in our league? Stormcallers and Seismic Shockwaves are both the two ones that we made this season, or specifically iNooblet made this season, and so it's really cool to see them match up here in the Godlike division, and these cool logos made by iNooblet and the team up there in the production. Really well done by them, and I agree with you on the page of Seismic Shockwaves. They did everything right. And so what's in Stormcallers do? And that's, we both said it, objectives and team fight and having a purpose and knowing what to do after you get the objective or after you fail getting the objective, having that plan afterwards. So I think we both agree, but we do see one band coming out here that I want to point to, and it's a new one. That would be the Thor.
You have to respect it. We saw why STAILUS?
Yep,
STAILUS was able to really take advantage of the global ability, and despite I'm saying Thor solo kind of suffers from yada yada yada, shut me right up and put it right to use. doing the most damage in the game, and it's very, very impressive to say the least. And you got to respect it. But coming out for Seismic Shockwaves, they're getting their Baba Yaga back. And I don't know if Stormcallers can deal with it. We saw the Baba Yaga go 5-0 last game. So, I mean, Stormcallers might decide that the Baba Yaga wasn't exactly a problem, where it was just getting the final hits off for the kills. But I think that's something that Stormcallers really needs to find a way to deal with. But they're going to opt for their Sun Wukong again.
Stormcallers, I would not be surprised if they took the Susano here. It's a great answer to Baba Yaga, number one. And number two, we don't put it onto the Shockwaves. And so we're taking a god away from the Shockwaves that they felt very comfortable on the previous game. The stat line at least showed it. Not the damage edge much, but his kill, death, and assist line did show that Susano was feeling very comfortable. But instead, we're going to be hovering the Maui and picking the Maui. Landfall, great ultimate. I don't know if it's going to be that great against a Baba Yaga unless she doesn't have Home Sweet Home. But you can probably still land a big ultimate to put her out of position.
I think that Maui Ultimate could really take advantage of a Home Sweet Home. Big hitbox, and unlike Vimana, Home Sweet Home can't really step over walls. So I think that might be a good way to kind of keep the Baba Yagas stuck in while also displacing other people in the Shockwaves. I always love Maui. I think he's such a fun support. But I think picking him early is a bit playing your hand. I feel like if you're going to pick supports early, there's a whole bunch of better supports with better utilities, such as Ganesh, but we see they banned the Ganesh. Yamoja's always a good one. And now we see the Ratatasker, however, coming out for Seismic Shockwave. Stormcallers opted to put a ban towards it. Now they decided to go for the Thor instead. So I'm kind of excited how Seismic Shockwaves are going to work with this Rat.
Probably going to be a solo rat, I would assume at least. And they picked the Raw into the Ratatasker, which is an unusual pick to answer after a Ratatasker. Through the Cosmos is a great ultimate to be able to displace any mid laner that does not have an escape. And that's exactly what Raw is. Can walk really fast, but cannot do much more than that. The Susano ban will come out from Stormcallers. It makes sense to ban the Susano. I said it. We both said it. It was the main player on Seismic Shockwaves until we saw that Thor damage numbers. And we realized kind of who was the main player actually. But still, Susano did really well last game. And so I'm happy to see the ban come out here because I don't think that Rat is going to go into jungle. I think they're going to opt for a more like Susano jungler on the side of Seismic Shockwaves, which Ratatasker is not like a Susano. I would say like a Susano would be more of a Wheelix is even a possibility of that. Someone who can create a large amount of chaos in a team fight by just pressing the 4 button. And that's exactly what Susano does. And that's also exactly what guys like a Wheelix do.
Mm-hmm. One thing I gotta say with this Ratatasker is it's essentially it's Thor, right? So if you think about it, it's the semi-global ability. They both have stuns in their regular kits. They both have dash, if you want to call it a dash. Thor just has the wall, which is the only advantage. They both spin. So I think if I get a case, it's just to reskin Thor. But I think if Stormcallers couldn't really handle a Thor on the side of Seismic Shockwaves, I think Rat's gonna be a bigger problem because Rat's got the protection shred. Then all the different acorns that you can go, right? You can go the crit corn, you can go the healing acorn, or the one where it gives you the 2 spin attacks. I don't know if that's the same one as the healing one. I'm not sure. But I think there's 2 healing ones, but one might give you more protections than heals. But
yeah,
they've changed so much I can't remember. I think they're gonna have a bigger problem though dealing with this with Ratatasker. Maybe because won't have the Thor passive won't be as much of a problem, but I think you're gonna still have the same problems as last game. And we're gonna see a Charybdis picked up. Charybdis always one of those safer gods where it's the equivalent to Chalk in the carry lane. You might not win, but you won't lose.
Yeah, what a equivalence. I've never had that comparison. Charybdis.
Well, think about it, right? Like Chalk you're doing solo, right? You might not win, but you're probably not going to lose. Charybdis,
yeah, it's an
right?
Equalizer. It's an equalizer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
it's
just going to be
it's just making sure you don't lose. It's just a safe, sound pick. It won't push anything. Chalk won't push anything. But if you want to be if you're relying on a different lane to really start carrying you, then that god is the pick to really save it out. But we're going to see a Rat jungle, and we're going to see a Surtur coming out. Ooh. Get your marshmallows, chocolates, and graham crackers ready. Some s'mores.
It could still be a Surtur jungle, man. I hope that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it?
I want a Surtur s'more skin now.
Just him as a fire, and then like
Make it
every little
happen!
thing.
Someone
Yeah.
make it happen.
mighty
Oh my!
sword!
He has like has a skewer with the like charred marshmallows, and his horns are like chocolate. Oh, I make myself hungry just talking about it. Finishing out the Stormcallers, we're gonna get Ao Kwang. Solid character, helps kind of deal with this Khepri that we see going on Seismic Shockwaves. So Ao Kwang is definitely a good response.
Ao Kwang is a good response. We see him a lot in the ranked type of matches. We don't really see him as much in competitive. Just the opposite of someone like Khepri, but the execute pick is a great pick into the Khepri considering it counters it. So it doesn't really matter if you get executed while the blessing is on top of you, Scare's blessing is on top of your head. You're getting executed. Doesn't matter what's going on. And so great option to have an execute. It's either that or Thanatos or the Achilles. And in this situation, picking the Ao Kwang made the most sense.
I might want to have seen a Thanatos to kind of combat the semi-global ultimate. Like, sure, Ao Kwang has it, but he has to secure the execution, which can be stopped with beads, right? So, unlike Thanatos or Achilles, this one can be stopped by beads. Or Khepri can even get someone out of it in that split second that Ao Kwang has picked them. So, maybe the Thanatos, but Ao Kwang also just has the potential to just kind of run through teams late game, where Thanatos only really takes advantage of the early game, and late game he's kind of a just dive and pray you get the kill, and that's what you're really looking to get with Thanatos. So I think they're probably looking for more end game stuff when it comes to the Ao Kwang pick.
And exactly, Ao Kwang might be that end game situation. Stormcallers really need an end game right now, and we're about to find out if they can do it. This is a best of 3 set, currently leading Seismic Shockwaves 1-0. We'll see you in the game with ViVi and Kingfsher.
Can Seismic Shockwaves get their first win of the season? We're about to find out. They have the 1 game advantage, so they just need to win this one. And honestly, looking at their comp, I think it's definitely a possibility.
Strong one at that. I really like this comp. Much to Fenix's chagrin, it is going to be a Surtur solo and the Ratatasker jungle, but I'm sure it's going to work out just fine. And before we go further, I gotta appreciate the supports in this game. 2 of my favorite. It's Maui, it's Khepri, both with so much CC, both so helpful for their team. Really love to see these picks.
Yeah, and absolutely. Providing quite a different, playstyle compared to the last game supports. Obviously Khepri gonna be a lot more in that peel heavy. It's gonna extend some of these fights a bit. Alana does have some aggression, obviously, like that dash could definitely set up for some kills. And then, of course, Maui on the other side, huge AoE ultimate, can also block off some, lanes here in this jungle, which they talked about maybe blocking off this Baba Yaga when she is in that house. So, kind of excited to see how these supports will utilize that, but we do see, downside of Khepri, your wave clear kind of stinks.
It's not the strongest. Really, at any level, I feel like Khepri could start out level 5 and they would still kind of lose the lane pressure off of that. And I'm sure when we get late game, we're really going to see these supports shine. And like you said, Khepri, very peel heavy. I love the team comp he's paired with. The Surtur, the Ratatasker can both dive by themselves extremely easily. They can both save themselves. Really going to let Archie focus solely on their backliners during this fight. Raymond with a good dash away, running back the Hachiman, I believe. Nice to see. No, were the teams reversed? They were.
Yes.
I was so confident going into that answer.
No, it's okay. Oh my goodness. All right, well, STAILUS, hello. First blood. Surtur, straight up on the map. I mean, and Dragoon possibly also falling here on the other side. Will fall. Khepri getting the credit for that kill. Raymond super low strat. The next target. So much CC. Just not enough. And Khepri with the double kill. Not the person you maybe want to give that to. But you know what? I'm sure that Seismic Shockwaves will happily take the 3 early kills here.
And if you weren't convinced when the game started, you should be now. Seismic Shockwaves want to win this game. An insane level of early aggression. I was not expecting a kill before the 4-minute mark with either of these team comps. I thought the solos would be matched in aggression. Both the supports are so good at peeling for their team. And instead, Seismic Shockwaves get the better half of both, and a 3-0 start to this game is exactly what you want, but we've seen it too many times where teams get a lead and they either overplay it or don't play enough. It's going to be a good balance to make sure they can maintain this lead throughout the game.
Yeah, personally, I believe that when these junglers hit level 5, it's definitely going to dictate a lot of how the rest of this game is going to play out. Obviously, both have huge power spikes level 5. Alquan getting that execute, getting that kind of semi-global ultimate. Like the desk kind of said, you do have to execute someone to get it. But hey, it is an option. And additionally, Ratatasker getting that through the Cosmos, giving him an actual semi-global ultimate where he could, use it without needing to kill someone first. Rotation of blue buff. Ross showing up. Same with Baba Yaga. 3 members here. Possible another fight. But it won't be.
No more kills, but a very early rotation for both of the teams. Just a duo lane kind of left alone. Last game, it seemed like we were talking about objectives a lot. That was a pretty big focus of that game. Obviously, nothing really happened on the map until 23 minutes in. And especially with those kills Seismic Shockwave got, with the nature of how dive heavy some of their draft is, and how much room their backline's going to have to play with, I would love to see Seismic Shockwaves be the aggressive team this time, force those early fights. It's like last game, they still don't have a huge secure like there was a Typhoon, but they can really fight around these very well.
Yeah, 100%. Now, they do have to play a little careful because they don't have the secure. But guess who does actually have a secure this time? Stormcallers. They got that Searing Pay on that Raw, so they have to obviously watch over Raw Snipers to steal those away. Now, granted, obviously, Surtur and Ratatasker can be very annoying to kind of stay on this Raw, make sure he does not get the chance to get in. We actually see Aggressing kind of hovering, waiting for him. Does dash in, hits the Acorn, but does not get the stun. So no kill going to Aggressing quite yet here. And back to farming.
Back to farming indeed. Farm simulator time. Aggressing wanting to get that first one off of the board. Now Storm, is going to steal away the silver buff. Forget about the gold buff. This game, it's going to be all about the silver, waiting to see all the ganks, all the kills that happen. Over 10% cooldown reduction. Love to see it. And the Khepri actually is rotated out of lane very quickly. Maui just now going to be joining them, hoping to get a little pressure in the mid lane. Solo lane still ahead. STAILUS trying to get the kill. Sun Wukong into the somersault cloud. Ratatasker is close, but likely won't chase under the tower.
Geez, Storm, not what I was expecting, but we do see the first use of Through the Cosmos here. Rat waiting. And also, end of days utilized as well. The double semi-global ultimates, and that will be a kill. Just in case they needed more help, here comes Khepri. Lycan, level 5 under tower. Safe. Does use the ultimate to protect STAILUS, but Maui comes in here with a big ol' landfall. Fortunately, though, it's just Lycan here. Does not have the follow-up necessary to continue this fight.
Great use of utility there by the Shockwaves to walk out of that one alive. Khepri with a well-timed revive to prevent Lycan from using that execute. Scarab's Blessing coming in clutch there. And they maybe almost mistimed their ultimates. I don't think Ratatasker hit the knockup, but Sun Wukong low health, you do a lot of damage, you don't need it, and the mid lane's in the duo lane. Dragoon falls 5 kills to 0. Everybody's getting involved.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. You got your backliners to stick together. They are buddies. They, you know what? They got each other's backs. Unfortunately, though, not able to secure that shield buff as Strat gonna try to pick this up, but Baba's hovering. Wonder if Strat knows. The house hasn't moved. I don't know if he has vision of the house from there, but he is using all he can to try to get it. Baba will be the one, though, to take it away.
Good job by the Baba Yaga to secure that buff. Poor Strat just wanted a little bit of XP. It doesn't come that easily to the supports. And have to wait a little longer and already fighting in the mid lane. Sorry though, Beacon doesn't open up for another 5.5 minutes. They're a tad early there, but getting that early ward control sure to be important. Now the support returned over there to the duo lane. Strat spending a lot of time on the left-hand side of the map.
Yeah, very interesting decision. I mean, Landfall isn't up quite yet. I mean, your ADC is also a little behind, so splitting that wave, maybe not the best. I mean, you're also behind, but you don't want to put your ADC behind to try to get you back up. Raymond taking a bit of poke, but he's perfectly fine. Just for a little honor. Strat, though, probably going to be close to that landfall cooldown, so I wonder if he's going to hover around and maybe look to get a cheeky ultimate here.
Gonna have their work cut out for them if they do. Aggressing, rotating over. Dragoon does have the ultimate, but Ratatasker comes up behind the Charybdis. They haven't seen him.
Oh no! Oh, Dragoon just getting blinked on by Rat. He is waiting away here. We do see Charybdis though. Going to the ultimate. Oh no! That would have been enough to kill. Rat getting credit for that one. Does use through the Cosmos to secure that away. Lycan almost died to these harpies. Oh, here comes out of days. Oh no, peekaboo! Oh, but he actually gets a water illusion off and actually might be able to live. No way, Strat stunning him, saving the life of his jungler. That is super unfortunate. But Strat actually might pay for his life. Does utilize the landfall, but separates his own mid laner from their mid laner. Oh no! Ra though chasing away, gonna get him hit with the flashbang. Will get the kill. Might die for it though. Double kill for the soul laner, who ended up picking up Strat in the mid laner. Storm is here, but already super low, forcing the somersault call, lands right back in, wants to take this fight, almost gets the kill into Aggressing, but just not quite enough. No execute from Lycan means that no kill.
Stormcallers nearly with another one there, and what a reaction from Lycan. If that was me, I would be in the store on page 2, planning out my next tier 2 item, but ready on the teleport, saving their own life. Great play from the Stormcallers jungler, and they pick up a kill on the back end. Always love to see that, especially didn't have, or I had one kill going into that. I did think they took down Archiebaker once, but it does feel good to get that out of the way. Onto the Baba Yaga. RedBuffBandit sitting at 1-1-1, highest level of the team. We talked about having Ra for the objective secure, but the damage in general. This is a mid laner. You want to have the advantage because a Ra, when they're ahead, is insanely, insanely difficult to slow down.
I mean, literally, it's Ra. he's a speedy boy sometimes. You definitely gotta watch out. Ra can be fairly slippery. But we're getting kind of close now. Obviously, objective's getting pulled a little later now, but we're getting close to the point now where we are gonna see that. Ooh, Siri paying completely off the mark. Do you think we will see these objectives get pulled slightly earlier this time, or do we think we're gonna see something similar to game 1?
If the kills and the XP were reversed, I think it would absolutely be a lot quicker. Stormcallers have a lot of burn in their team comp, they have good secure, and Seismic Shockwaves, they have a really good lead, but without that, might be hesitant. Dragoon losing a lot of HP over here in the left-hand side. Doesn't have to use the ultimate, starts to channel the back. Raymond with mounted archery, Storm low as well. Sidelanes from Stormcallers are not having a fun early game.
Yeah, absolutely not. Both these side lanes looking really good for the sides of Seismic Shockwaves. Baba Yaga into the house, throwing on down the flames. RedBuffBandit getting caught, but does beat landfall though. Britain's Kepri right into tower, only taking one tower shot. Here's Lycan trying to get something. He kept aggressing, sneaking along the back line like a little sneaky, slippery rat he is. Does end up getting that kill. Oh, ooh, well, typical Java. Hitting him with that surprise little Y shape there, getting a second kill for this fight. And now, Rat gonna take away these beacons and possibly look for an objective.
I might have been wrong. If they keep getting kills like that and man advantage, they're certainly going to be looking for some objectives. Pyromancer not up yet. That's the one that was kind of looked at early game in match number 1. Always think Gold Fury might be on the table. They've looked towards Charybdis a lot this game. I think 3 different ganks. Killed them once or twice. I believe the other one was just a 1v1, so maybe not all the time. But if they can get another successful gank on that side of the map and use STAILUS to zone the Surtur, already 4 kills, already a lead over their solo lane opponent. Seismic Shockwaves certainly have the ability to kind of force a pace early.
Taking a look at some of these builds, most of it's kind of standard. I mean, obviously Baba Yaga going the stacking build, but that's pretty standard on her. Obviously with that passive, granted her some free stacks. But Prophetic Cloak second on the Sun Wukong out of Storm. How do you feel about this pickup here?
Oh. Depends how they can stack it. STAILUS getting up into the skies. It looked like they were in chase for a second. Lycan dropping low. Rat into the air successfully.
Oh, but blinks away. Very strange communication on that side. It seems like neither team really agreed on what they wanted to do. Oh, these water illusions out of Lycan, man. How quick of the reflex is that? My goodness, I would have just ran right into that and died over and over again. But this man is just on it, ready, completely saving his life multiple times this set.
3 different deaths they have avoided through either the blink or the water illusion. I mean, the Aokwang is on it. Surprised we didn't see that in game 1, considering just how comfortable they look on it. Ra now rotating onto the left. Strat jumps in. Stormcallers might be looking for something, but Java's here. Java finding some damage onto RedBuffBandit.
Ooh, forces Baba into the house, the home sweet home, and it's not very sweet for RedBuffBandit because he is gone and out of here. 1 kill to start off this fight. Gold Fury definitely going to be the target as we do see the rotation from the solo laner. And Storm hanging out over in the right lane has no TP up, so that means no rotation. And the Gold Fury finally starting up.
Is going to be started by Shockwaves. They have to be careful. Searing Pain is off the board, but Stormcaller still close. Doing a good job zoning. Maui now the only one close. Gold Fury losing a lot of HP. Landfall not in range. Shockwaves get the Gold Fury 13 minutes in. Already big changes to match number 1.
Yeah, I mean, we're still getting this arena-style gameplay, if you want to call it that. I mean, constant fighting, 11-2 this time, so it's not as back and forth like before. I mean, it's so much fighting that there's different fights going on the map right now. What the heck? We got the dual lane fighting. We got STAILUS just running at 2 members of Stormcallers all the way to their T2. This Surtur, you know, a pick we don't ever really see, like, at all. I had to, honestly, it took me a moment to even remember anything about this character because of how uncommon he is. But STAILUS just showing off, like, you know what? I don't know why this character isn't played at all. He's fantastic. Raymond, though, taking his boxing back. Dragoon using the Aegis, but Ratatasker sneaking his way and getting that kill onto Dragoon. Another 1v1 interrupted by the jungler.
Second time we've seen the Ratatasker and the Hachiman combine their ultimates just to secure a kill. Sometimes you would think it's wasteful, but honestly, against a Charybdis and against somebody as good as Dragoon, you want to use everything in your kit to make sure you get that kill. Love the coordination there from Shockwaves. I was about to question why they didn't beat that knockup to try to go for the kill. Didn't even notice a rat rotating in. Now RedBuffBandit caught out by their own green buff. It's going to be the green buff bandit, Archiebaker, taking that one away.
Do you think every time he starts taking buffs from other areas on the map, does he change his name?
I think the god just changes like background colors or something to reflect where they're at on the map. I don't think we've seen them steal a red buff yet, surprisingly.
I gotta say, I'm still disappointed. Look, he's RedBuffBandit, come on. I mean, at least one. I'm waiting. Unfortunately, though, with how this game is playing out, being 4K gold down, possibly not gonna see the Raw take that away, but I mean, just to say, I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful. End of days used here by the Surtur, but turning around onto Storm, who's just caught in the middle of 4. Can't even get into that somersault cloud. So much CC on the side of Seismic Shockwaves. And the crazy thing is, they got the objective, then got the kill. It wasn't the other way around.
Used to some teams kind of dropping the objective when players come around. Kind of depends on what you prioritize, XP or kills, but you can have both in this case. Seismic Shockwaves now 13-2. They got a pretty big advantage, and when teams have this advantage, we normally start to see tower pushes, we start to see earlier groupings. Haven't seen them in a squad bigger than 4 except for on that Gold Fury. All the tier 1s still on the map. Love the way Shockwaves have been playing this, but I'd like to see them get aggressive. Maybe before the second beacon comes up, make it a little bit easier on themselves.
I gotta say, the kahuna's on Dragoon right there. To sit around the corner while 3 levels down to try to take a fight, out of his mind. I would absolutely never think about doing that. But you know what? That's why he's in the top division, and that's why I am not. STAILUS, though, showing his face here. Gonna just run through this tier 1 tower dragon to get so much damage. Oh my goodness, where did his health bar go? 0-5-0 on this Charybdis, just cannot catch a break. So much aggression. And now Lycan is here, but what are you gonna do against this big, scary, tanky Surtur? Well, I guess pull him in the tower, that's one, and then execute him. But no, you're gonna die. You're not even gonna pull him up in time. STAILUS living once more and gets the Scarab's blessing to save his life and lives the searing pain. This man has, just like a cat, has 9 lives, probably more at this point, from how much he just lived through there.
RedBuffBandit with the great timing nearly takes STAILUS off the map. 4-on-4 would love to get that shutdown bonus. But the Capri mentioned it in the pregame, mentioned it in the beginning of the game. The Scarab's blessings have been absolutely on point. And Lycon now only attempted and execute twice, but gotten blocked both times from Archie. Now RedBuffBandit in trouble under the tier 2, losing a lot of health, but uses the Aegis, going to be able to walk away successfully, and gets a red buff invaded.
Yeah, but it's the wrong person. Come on, RedBuffBandit, what are you doing? Small, I guess barely living is what you're doing. Holy smokes, gotta be at like 100 HP right there. Unfortunate there. 15-2 is the kill stat line here for this game. Seismic Shockwaves, I mean, and it's crazy because we talked about it. They're the 8th seed. They are the bottom seeded team at this current moment. And they're making it look like they are the #1 team. Crazy showing from the squad right now.
Taking the records to heart, and certainly won't be considered at the bottom even after this performance. As far as I'm concerned, they could lose the next 2 games and I'd think they're a great team. Just as start we've seen in game 2 has been night and day since game number 1. Digi and Beacon now respawning in about 10 seconds. Should be no contest. The entire team is here from Stormcallers. You still do have 2 walking back from base, but they've been hesitant to start the fights, and I can see why. 2v4 right now for Seismic Shockwaves, showing absolutely no fear at all.
Yeah, I mean, look, I mean, we're talking about the gold difference again, about 6k XP difference, quite significant, 10k whole. A little bit more than I was even looking at, but yeah, we're seeing like 3 level differences between the jungler, between the ADC, about 2 from the support. Mid and solo, only about a level, but you can see across the board, Seismic Shockwaves are ahead. Stormcallers are just in a very difficult spot right now. Do you have any tips for them, you know, if they're sneaking to listen to the cast, but do you have any tips for how they can even possibly get their, you know, themselves back into this game?
It's difficult to tell at this point. Oni Fury going to be dropped by Seismic Shockwave. Storm might have stepped a little bit too far. Hachiman doing all the damage. Somersault Cloud not going to save them this time. Question might have to wait. The fight's not over. RedBuffBandit now in trouble.
RedBuffBandit is certainly in trouble, but Aggressing, trying to connect these autos, but struggling. But you know what? Let's get some help with STAILUS here. Stunning. RedBuffBandit does pop the bees, but through the Cosmos, you can't escape. There's just too much aggression from this dive here. Landfall completely missing the rat, but now the rest of Seismic Shockwaves is here. They got the objective. They want the kill. Strat's their target. He's hitting there, waiting. But unfortunately, they have a lot of patience on this squad. That will be another kill for them. STAILUS going up into the end of days, looking for a possible target around the area, but there wasn't any, as Lycan is just sneaking his way down to that right lane and taking care of that Oni wave early.
Good split there from Lycan. Not going to be able to do anything to that tier 2 tower, but taking down the Oni waves. Always nice. Now they're not going to have to worry about it. On that right-hand side, and Shockwaves have 5 up. Stormcallers going to have it shortly. With this much of a lead, you have to think Fire Giant at least being thought about. But I think we talked about it at the start of this game. The Searing Pain on the Raw is a scary tool. Sun Wukong dive, the blanking on the name, the Ao Kuang dive as well. If I'm Shockwaves, I'm looking for some more kills before I try something big like that. And I think you asked me before all that fight kind of broke out about what the Stormcallers have to do. They have to be patient. There's going to be a fight where Shockwaves are going to misstep or something. But until then, there's not much to do. You're down massive in XP, just as much in gold. It's going to be a very, very long fight back into this game for the Stormcallers.
Yeah, absolutely. It's at that point where Seismic Shockwaves are going to have to make a mistake here, and the Stormcallers are going to have to properly capitalize off of it. I mean, we just see the first level 20 now on this Ratatasker. He's definitely going to back and get that Protector of the Jungle, I would assume. But we'll see what he gets. Dragoon, the target, forces the ultimate. The Maw hungers, but the Maw will not eat anything. Only used defensively this entire game.
Not what you want to see if you're a Charybdis. Luckily, though, has saved their life multiple times, so, you know, never something you're too upset about. Strat now very deep on the right side of the map, so is Storm. They're both tanky, but neither can get out too easily. Are the Shockwaves going to collapse? They're split out pretty wide, though, and now Surtur might be the target up in the top right.
Absolutely. Looks like the Tanks are going to try to, you know, zone out this Baba Yaga, but no, they actually want to group up with the rest of their team. But STAILUS is just so tanky, so strong right now. The 4 members might be able to be enough to get it, but unfortunately, he's just going to get away. And not much that Stormcallers could do, but continue their aggression, try to get something. Searing Pain completely off the mark, but Raymond says, all right, go ahead. I got this. I'll just get a bird. But finally, somebody on the side of Seismic Shockwaves will end up falling, and it is their support dying to the other side support. Strat using that landfall on it to STAILUS, but he's back in action, utilizing that DP. Through the Cosmos is up as well. Dragoon in a completely difficult position. TypicalJava will get credit for that through the Cosmos. Trying to sneak away that kill. This rat, he's been kill stealing a little bit this game, but just like that, lost the left bird and lost a couple lives.
You want them to be patient. You want them to wait for their time to attack. That really wasn't either. Stormcallers, they do get one kill off of that. Might slow Shockwaves down for a bit, as they're going to have to wait for Khepri. Raymond not done, though. Ooh, good knockup by Storm to knock them out of that. Now the Hachimon might be too deep. Rest of the team here, Stormcallers don't want to chase. Storm stepping out, though.
Oh, no. Yeah, really wants this kill. He's got red in his eyes, but you just can't do that. Pretty far behind, and even with Raymond low, he's got friends ready, and you're just not in the position, especially with your prophetic only at those 16 stacks. You're just above halfway for the evolved form of that item, and at this rate, I don't even think we're gonna see that be fully stacked. And this Wukong is, we're seeing it, just cannot eat any of this damage.
They're not really getting a chance to stack it either. Archiebaker's been playing extremely well. Java's been positioning out of their mind. Sun Wukong not with too many opportunities to hit a magical damage dealer. Now the Fire Giant is going to start. All 5 up are for Stormcallers, but 3 of them are on the right side of the map. If they can keep that raw zoned out, theoretically should be an easy Fire Giant, and nobody's going to contest. Sun Wukong doesn't hear it. Fire Giant falls. Seismic Shockwaves now with an even bigger lead and a new target in the solo lane.
Storm gonna try to create as much space as he does, but I mean, Storm's gotta know he's dead here, right? Your best bet is just to buy as much time as you can. Hovering in that Somersault Cloud, just working, trying to wait for where he wants to go. Will land right on top of Khepri. Gonna try to pull his way away. But, I mean, hey, you know what? He did exactly what you need to do in that situation, so I respect it. But now the push on the right side is about to break out.
And these members need to get back from the base. Charybdis still in left, pushing towards a tier 1. Ao Kuang heading into the jungle. They must not have known the push was coming. Tier 2 tower going to fall easily, and it's a 4-on-2. They can afford to go for this Fenix right now. They know Charybdis is on left. Ao Kuang is going to get the back off, though. Going to turn into a 4-on-3.
Yeah, but what do you do? I mean, sure, Surge is not with them, but they're just, we're talking about how far ahead we are, especially with those bombs. Good Fenix, and we didn't even know ya. Right lane, Fenix taking away 5 members grouped up here. The fight, possibly the final fight of the game, is happening. End of days, targeting RedBuffBandit. Can he get into this fountain? He cannot, but STAILUS might be able to. The Hunters finally gets something and pushes him into the fountain to get the shutdown onto STAILUS. And this will deter the Seismic Shockwaves from possibly looking for anything else. But, you know, 2 birds down. I'm sure they're happy with the results.
Good push there from the Shockwaves, and a great play from Dragoon to find that kill. Unfortunately for them, if STAILUS hadn't died there, they might have been able to stick around and get that left-hand bird as soon as it comes up. They're going to have to fall back, though. Pyromancer the target, and Stormcallers are still chasing this. If I were them, I would take the victory and back off. They don't want to leave yet, though. Final Beacon get a fall to Shockwave. They're third of the game. They got 15% increased damage to those structures. And at 27 minutes, the Titans are gonna march, and that's when I would expect for Shockwaves to put the dagger in.
Absolutely. The last bird up. I mean, left bird did technically just spawn, but, you know, what are you gonna do? You got Titan pushing up mid. You gotta worry about that. I mean, someone could easily just sneak over to that left lane, give it a couple taps. Down that goes. I mean, we even see a bomb on this Ratatasker. Stormcallers definitely in a very difficult position.
They are, but you know, it's never over till it's over. They just had a nice defense on the Titan. They were able to take one down with them. They've certainly got some tools. They have a lot of displacement with that team comp. Maui can separate them. Charybdis can kind of section people off. You have raw heals, you have an execute. They have all the tools they need to do this successfully. It's gonna be hard though. Shockwaves are not gonna make it easy. You see them all grouping up here around the mid lane. They know what they're going to do. They know when they're going to do it. Titans now just reaching the Fenix line. And Stormcallers still have some players in left that they need to get in mid fast. If that Titan makes it all the way to the bird, I think it might be game over.
Yeah, I mean, this Chaos Titan is definitely gonna fall very soon. And I mean, they don't have much answer if this Orange Titan gets to step up all the way up there. STAILUS, though, getting caught out, just not enough burst, gets into the end of the days just fast enough, but it's kind of low. But through the Cosmos, Rat is waiting, he's hovering, looking for his next target. They are a little bit separated. Oh, but Al-Quad coming in with a sneaky execute. That is huge for the Stormcaller squad. Might be able to turn this around. Forcing the Seismic Shockwaves to actually think twice about this push. This Titan right outside this burn. And now Storm, though, trying to go in, trying to make something happen, but just eating all kinds of damage. Goes dive back in again. The Storm's nuts. He just really wants to get aggressive, but unfortunately, they're not in the great spot. They still have Fire Giant on their belts. Al-Quad trying to run away, but he can't go to Visible when there's a big pile of fire around you, buddy. Goodbye, Lycan. 4v4 once again, but the Titan at least will be driven back, and that mid-bird will stay alive. Landfall used to try to get something, but unfortunately did not connect. Oh, Dragoon, though, what in the heck are you doing? We do see the Scales Blessing used, but unfortunately, Raymond does get to save his life. Aegis Auto, we might see the kill the ADC. We do. That is a worthy trade in my book if I'm the Stormcallers. ADC for ADC. Now Archie, the next target getting CC, but here comes TypicalJava. He's still hanging around, doing tons of damage. That's late game Baba for you, baby. Storm getting the next kill. And just like that, Stormcallers just not gonna go down easily. They want to keep this going, but unfortunately, here comes the front line once more. 2 members fall. RedBuffBandit will fall to Surtur, and all that's left now is Storm. I was just talking about how they were making the comeback, but I don't know if they can. Lycan, though, is up, has the execute on hand if needed. But I think Seismic Shockwave will take their win and back on up.
And the fighting finally stops, the dust clears, and Seismic Shockwaves still in a 3v2. Might not be done with it yet. Lycan caught on the wrong side of the wall. Water Illusion won't get them away fully. Aggressing, looking for the kill. Aggressing gets it. Storm now the only one left. Dragoon respawning. Shockwaves do a great job staggering the kill timer. Still can't go for that end, but they're trying.
Man, they're trying for sure. Storm buying as much time as he can. Just get the Somersault Cloud off. Looking to go onto the Rat. Does land on him. Does not have enough damage. So close. Rat literally is gray icon on the 3. Oh, wait a minute. What are you doing? No, Rat. What did you run into, buddy? Possibly the Harpy getting kill credit there in that jungle. And just like that, it's Seismic Shockwave. Honestly, probably lost over that because they had 2 birds down, but now they only have 1.
Yeah, Seismic Shockwaves, for one of really the first times this entire set, we see a misplay, and I think it started with losing STAILUS early. 7-2 and 9 has been a huge part of these engagements, getting that damage off top in the lobby with 31,000. Losing an 8 fun, enhanced Fire Giant might fall. Can Storm get here in time? No, he cannot.
Ooh. Unfortunately, he cannot, and that was just enough to be an EFG. This is huge for Shockwave, and unfortunately, Storm just is not in a great position to try to fight this, but does have the safety of the Maui. But unfortunately, TypicalJava just stepping completely up, really looking for that kill. We'll take the 1v1 against Lycan. I said 1v1, I lied. I meant 1v3. Home sweet home, onto Lycan. Down he goes. This could be the final push of the game. Bobby Ultimate is utilized, just run right into the raw beam. Takes a little bit of poke. Mid-bird, gonna be the target. These don't have minions, but do have a bomb if they want to use it. But they're just gonna try to get some damage. Strat still not level 20, still hanging that level 19 mark. Searing Pain does connect onto Raymond's shell. Utilized, and once again, this Somersault Cloud is up and ready to go, and he will go in. But on the right side, we see STAILUS and Aggressing just doing what they've been doing all game long, being a complete nuisance for this team to handle the double dive. Dragoon will push him back into Fountain. Well, not quite Fountain, almost there, but he's still going. He says, I don't care, I'm here to get a kill, but he actually will not. Dragoon barely lives once again. STAILUS making that mistake twice now, but at least his team was able to secure that mid-bird. And the fight, though, still continuing on.
Now we're going to see Seismic Shockwaves claw one back. Raymond gets it onto Storm. Raymond dropping low, has to use the Aegis. Still running away. RedBuffBandit leading the charge for Stormcallers. And Dragoon takes a lot of HP.
Yeah, Baba Folly did not pay that mortgage on that house. Down she goes. Stormcallers pushing. Will they actually be able to turn this around? We'll have to see. Khepri ready for his life. Lycan has the execute up, so this Scarab's Blessing is useless if he catches up to him, which maybe we'll be able to, but actually Aggressing is here. And so is Raymond on the horse. Lycan doesn't even get the ultimate off. Goodbye, Lycan. And just like that, Khepri is getting saved by his own teammates. The supports getting some love this time around, and Aggressing with a double kill, turning this around. Stormcallers had it, but they're losing it once more. This rat is just crazy right now. Might get a triple. No, Raymond's gonna take that for himself. Strat's just kind of hanging out right now. Unfortunately, though, will not be able to get anything. And just like that, the real champions of this game are the minions here. As STAILUS comes right in and will try to finish this off himself. Can Storm defend this Titan? Well, if I was a betting man, I'm going to say probably not. But as the Titan, it reset itself, I mean, maybe? No. I mean, Seismic Shockwave are pushing up here. This Titan, unless Storm is the best player in this game by a mile, I don't think he is, unfortunately. Raymond gonna get that rampage before ending this game, and just like that, Seismic Shockwaves will take Game 2 in the set.
Well, I gotta say, congratulations to the Shockwaves. We were talking about game one, how we wanted to do more objective play and really take their lead and push it to a win. And that's exactly what they did this game. It seemed like there wasn't much Stormcallers really could do. Shockwaves was just firing on all cylinders. Very impressive showing, to say the least. And I gotta say, I love that it's Surtur. I remember at one point we were looking at him at 6-1. Towards the end, started getting a little dive happy, but I'm taking notes on that build and watching the laning play, because that was amazing soul lane coming out of that Surtur.
You're a big fan of STAILUS. You like his Thor.
I like soul laners and I like Surtur, so STAILUS has done a lot to win my heart.
There you go. STAILUS deserves every little part of that, as well as Aggressing again, showing that hand of 25k, doing less damage than his soul laner. But 8-1 is that scoreline for the Ratatasker in the jungle. Sadly, not in the solo lane, as Fisher had to remind me in the beginning of that game, sadly. Still presented quite well. It was 8-1, and it worked well with TypicalJava, as you said. It reminds you kind of Thor, and it kind of played that same role, besides it was on the ground just a bit more than I expected it to, and was a lot more in the nitty-gritty of it, and getting kills. 8, 1, and 13 is a great place to be as a jungler, especially at this high of a level.
Seismic Shockwaves playing one solid game today, one solid set, really taking what they learned in game one, really pushing it towards game two. They like we're just saying, that lead they really just sent there and just shoved it forward. Great job for Stormcallers for keeping it tight though, especially towards the end. You didn't really know which going one way or another. You saw Shockwaves kind of getting a bit too confident in what they're doing. The only really advice I'd have for Shockwaves is try to clean up the end game a little bit. Stop trying to go for those kills. Maybe be a bit more objective, target based when it comes to the Fenixes and whatnot. But I mean, they cleaned it up and they're able to drag Stormcallers away from the Titan, let Winions do everything. So all in all, it worked out great for the Shockwaves.
Shockwaves are going to take that set felt like kind of easily until it got to the 25-minute mark in that second game. Or
then
like
a little bit of struggle, yeah.
Yeah, it was like we probably could have ended this game a little bit ago and not had this be this long of a game. But at the end of the day, it still is a 3-point win towards their way. If you get a 2-0, you shut out the other team. You get 3 points on your board, which puts the Stormcallers in not too good of a position, but this puts the Shockwaves in a much better position than they were in before, which is at the bottom of the table. They now have 3 points on the table, which is a lot more than I think 3 or 4 other teams do within our Godlike division. Puts them in like the 4th or 5th spot. So a great position to be in if you are a Seismic Shockwaves Godlike fan, as well as for the Stormcallers, there is a bright future out there. They did not play like absolutely horribly today. They presented well with some good picks, and they showed a couple of different strats they could play as well. We would love to see a little better objective play coming from PogChamp and I, though.
All right, thank you for joining us tonight with this SDL. My name is Gear. With me we got Fenix. On cast we had ViVi and Fisher, and as always our little production boy iNooblet on camera and production. So thank you again for joining us, and we'll see you next time.